Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson, along with Andrew Bone, coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Breaking news as Ty Simpson has just committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Here to talk about the four-star quarterback. We've previewed his commitment, and today he chooses the Alabama Crimson Tide. Bone, what does it mean? I mean, it seems like, it was potentially Tennessee, Clemson, Alabama. In the end, it's the Crimson Tide. Let's dive into this a little bit.
Absolutely. Huge commitment today for Alabama. And, we weren't really sure what he was going to do. There was some kind of going back and forth over the last few days, few weeks for Ty, but he was ready to make that decision. And I think he's very confident in his choice today. I think he's going to become a pretty big leader vocally on the recruiting trail for Alabama and try to help this class out as much as he can. But obviously, it's a big commitment for the Crimson Tide. There was some talk that it was going to be Clemson. I think he had a great relationship with Dabo Swinney and the coaching staff there, visited Clemson back during the regular season. And I also think that Tennessee had an opportunity with them. They were the school that was considered the favorite prior to Jeremy Pruitt getting fired. And, once Jeremy Pruitt got fired, we saw Ty Simpson schedule an announcement for his decision. And so it kind of made everyone think that it was going to be Alabama or Clemson. But I know that Josh Heupel, the new coaching staff at Tennessee, continue to recruit him, continue to press for him. And there was some thought, even in Knoxville, that they might have a chance to get his commitment. But in the end, it's Alabama. So a huge commitment for the Crimson Tide.
Now, Bone, 6'2", 190 pounds, coach's son. His highlights, we've talked about this before. His highlights are fantastic to watch. I mean, this is a guy who's slippery, who can make throws, who can throw on the run. He's a coach's son, so he knows the game from a schematic standpoint. Let's talk about him as a player, what he brings to this class.
Yeah, I think he's got a great high football IQ. Very smart, very intelligent, a leader out there on the field. He's definitely somebody that can escape the pocket, as you're seeing here in his highlights. He's got a strong arm, can throw on the run, and definitely reminds me of Tua a little bit, because Tua did such a great job rolling out and throwing on the run when he was in Tuscaloosa, and just being able to escape the pocket when there's a lot of pressure, and he does such a great job in that regard. So this is a superstar quarterback, one of the top overall quarterbacks in the country. I know, we spoke with Chad Simmons the other day, who said that he's really eager to see him a little bit more this spring, could potentially move up to that 5-star ranking. He just hadn't had a chance to see him against, really good elite competition. So he wants to see him a little bit more. So we could see Ty Simpson earn that 5th star here in the next few months.
Bone, when we talk about, Ty Simpson and kind of the coaching turnover that Alabama saw, we're going to have Bill O'Brien working with the quarterbacks at Alabama. How much did he play into this? I know that he just arrived into Tuscaloosa this 2021 season, and we're barely in the month of February, but did he play a role in this recruiting? I assume he did, because he's a quarterbacks coach. Let's kind of elaborate on that a little bit. What did Bill O'Brien play in this recruiting front?
Yeah, I mean, he certainly became the lead recruiter in Ty Simpson's recruitment over the last few weeks. Once he became the offensive coordinator for Alabama, and I think they've developed a pretty special bond already early on in the process. Still have to get that relationship a little bit stronger. I mean, I know that they want to meet each other and spend some time together. So hopefully that's going to come probably this summer. But they've done some Zoom calls with each other. Nick Saban's had several Zoom calls with Ty Simpson and his family. I just think as the entire family felt very confident and comfortable with Alabama. From a coaching perspective, from a program perspective, and everything that comes with Alabama, from the academic program, the medical staff, the training staff, the strength and conditioning staff. All those guys had Zoom calls with his family and with Ty throughout the process, and I think those were some of the big reasons why he ends up choosing Alabama today.
Well, when we look to this class of 2022 now, we're just building on it. Let's talk about the class kind of from a early standpoint. And you said this, this is a guy who could potentially start to lead the rest of the class. How do you like the class so far? I know it's not an overwhelming amount of guys that have joined 2022, and I don't even want to start asking you about numbers, because that's going to be crazy to track as we move forward. But from a momentum standpoint, what does this mean, getting your quarterback on board?
Was huge. I mean, you got a guy who's potentially the leader of your class, who's going to be reaching out to different recruits. I'm sure Bill O'Brien and Nick Saban have a list of guys that they want Ty to reach out to, and people are aware of Ty Simpson. They know he's an elite level quarterback, and if you can get an elite quarterback in your class to jump on board early, help start recruiting. It's certainly a big advantage for Alabama. So, we saw things, kind of slow last year. Things didn't start out too hot. Alabama already has, 3 more commitments this time than they did last year. So, we'll see what happens over the course of the next few months. I don't see a lot of commitments happening between now and the spring. I just, we're going to see Emmanuel Henderson, the Rivals 100 running back from Geneva County in Alabama, announce his decision on March the 13th. But I just don't see a lot of other commitments happening. I think Alabama is going to be pretty patient, take their time, evaluate, and really try to develop relationships with these kids. Most of these kids, they haven't had an opportunity to spend time with in person. Sure, they've been able to evaluate their highlight film and have Zoom calls, but they also want to get to know them on a personal level and get to spend some time with them, and maybe size them up a little bit once they can finally get to campus here in the next few months.
Bone, when we look at Alabama's current quarterback situation, these are guys who are already on scholarship. You got Bryce Young, Paul Tyson, Jalen Milroe, right? All those guys, eligibility-wise, are still freshmen, which is crazy to wrap your head around. When Ty Simpson's on board, you got your quarterback for class of 2022. Is this the only quarterback that Alabama is going to go after? Basically, what I'm asking is Alabama only going to potentially try to sign one quarterback? And I know we're a long way from the actual signing period, but are there any other quarterbacks within this class that Alabama is also looking at?
Yeah, I think it kind of remains to be seen. I think Alabama is going to kind of figure out, if they can take another quarterback. Will they have room? I think they're still kind of trying to figure out the numbers overall. There's still some guys that they're still trying to bring in, including Henry Tolatola as not a graduate transfer, but just a regular transfer. And then you're still trying to add JT Tulamola to this 2021 class. So we'll see how it goes the rest of the way. But I think Alabama will still kind of keep, their options open at the quarterback position. Tanner Bailey from Gordo High School, he's certainly a kid that they've liked for a long time. But knowing that Ty Simpson's on board, it may entice him to go elsewhere. But you never know. I mean, we saw when Tua committed, didn't probably think Mac Jones was going to jump on board and flip from Kentucky, but he did, and we see how that worked out.
Yeah, it worked out quite well. Alabama now, you could potentially say QBU, right? For Andrew Bone, Kyle Henderson, Ty Simpson has committed to Alabama Crimson Tide. For more future stories, for more on the class of 2022 targets, go to BamaInsider.com. Bone's got a great big board, all the guys that you need to know leading up to this class of 2022. There's a ton of new coaches to add to the staff. So if you want news leading up into spring football, go to BamaInsider.com. We got you covered, inching closer to 50,000 subscribers right here on BamaInsider.com. So be sure and hit the bell, turn on notifications so you always know when Alabama football news drops right here on BamaInsider.com.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.